Hi everybody, Mrs. Pesic here. We are recording section 12.5. I'm live with section block 8. You want to give a shout out, block 8? All right. So 12.5 is angle relationships in circles. Your goals are to find the measures of angles formed by lines that intersect circles and use angle measures to solve problems. Here's your first theorem. If a tangent and a secant, or tangent and a chord, intersect on a circle at a point of tangency, then the measure of the angle formed is half the measure of its intercepted arc. We would not really consider this angle an inscribed angle. It's not really fitting the definition, but the formula is very similar because our formula for this angle that has its vertex as the point of tangency for this ray BC, and also is a point on the circle with this chord or this ray, that angle is going to be half of its intercepted arc. All right, so the measure of angle ABC is going to be half of the measure of arc AB. So for example, if this arc AB measured, let's say, 100 degrees, then what would be the measure of this angle here? 50 degrees. Are we okay with this?
Yeah. So is it the same?
All right. And so we have a little example here. You're asked to find the measure of angle BCD. Angle BCD is this angle. What's the measure of that angle going to be, Mitch? 71. Do people agree with that?
Yeah.
All right, 71 degrees for that angle. And then we're trying to find the measure of arc ABC. That's this arc ABC here.
I have an idea.
What do you think?
So I think that arc ABC is a half circle. So we could say 180 minus 142, and I think that AB would leave us with 38 degrees. And
This,
then,
you're saying this little arc is going to be, but what about arc ABC?
it's just 180.
180. Okay, and the reason we can say that not just because it looks like a semicircle, but because we actually see that angle ACD is a right angle.
Well, you get points off if we don't put a degree next to the arc.
Yes. So put degree symbols. All right, here's our next theorem. If two secants or two chords intersect in the interior of a circle, then the measure of each angle formed is half the sum of its measures of its intercepted arcs. So the hypothesis for this theorem is said, hey, you've got two chords, namely AD and chord BC, and they're intersecting at this point E somewhere in the interior of the circle. And then your conclusion is this, that the measure of angle 1 here is going to be half the sum of these two arcs, arc AB and arc CD. I would add those two arc measures together, multiply by 1/2, and that's going to be the measure of angle 1. So for example, if I said, hey, this arc here measures 40 degrees, and this arc here measures 70 degrees, then what would be the measure of angle 1? What do you think, Audrey?
Sorry, I was writing.
So if this arc CD is 40 degrees, and this arc AB measures 70 degrees, what would be the measure of angle 1? How'd you get that?
I added the two measures of the arcs, and then I multiplied by 1/2.
All right, add up the measures of the arcs, that's 110, and multiply by 1/2, and measure of angle 1 then turns out to be, what'd you tell me, 55 degrees? Are we okay with this?
Yeah.
All right, that's how that one works. Let's take a look at this example. In this case, we want to find the measure of angle SQR. SQR is this angle right here. Can you help me out with that? Ella.
I did 100 degrees plus 32 degrees, and then divided that by 2.
All right, 100 plus 32 divided by 2 or multiplied by 1/2 is going to be the measure of angle SQR, and that turns out to be what?
66 degrees.
Do you agree with 66 degrees?
Yeah.
All right, questions on this one? All right, moving on. We have this theorem that says if a tangent and a secant, or two tangents, or two secants, intersect in the exterior. I gotta highlight this. Come on, don't be shy. Oh, you're shy. No, here we go. Here we go. In the exterior of the circle, all right, then the measure of the angle formed is going to be half of the difference of the measures of its intercepted arcs. So the other formula, I'm backing up for a second. The other formula, the intersection point, the intersection point was a point in the interior of the circle, right? Interior of the circle, and the formula had half of the sum. You with me? I'm trying to make this stand out here. But if the if the point where the two tangents meet, for example, is in the exterior, then the formula is going to be half the difference of the intercepted arc. So for this first one then, measure of angle 1 is going to be half of this arc AD minus this arc BD. You have to subtract. All right? And then for measure of angle 2, to find this measure of this angle here, we're going to have to take half of this arc here minus this arc here. We'll take this difference between those two arcs and then subtract them and then divide by 2. And that'll be the measure of the angle. Or if we wanted to find the measure of angle 3, that's this angle right here, we would need to take this arc here and this arc here, subtract them, and then divide by 2. Everybody with me? Okay, so
Hold on. So you're just subtracting the two arcs that it touches.
correct. But I mean, we're not doing anything with this arc, for example, right? It's got to be the arcs that are formed by those two lines
That's the
in
angle.
between, or in between the two rays, in between the two angles.
Good.
All right, so let's take a look at these examples. In this case, we are trying to find the value of x. Can you help me out here, Rachel?
1/2 times measurement of, can I just say the numbers and stuff?
Sure.
1/2 times 174 minus 98.
Do people agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's going to be 1/2 of, what's 174 minus 98?
76.
76, so I need half of 76, which is
38.
38 degrees. Are we okay with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, this chapter, this quest on Friday, you need to know all of these formulas. I mean, good news, you're going to get a lot of formulas handed to you on the FOD quiz on Wednesday. Those will all be provided. No formulas will be provided on this quest. All right?
That's a lot.
Because we expect you to know these. Because on the ACT, you won't be given a nice, oh, here's your formulas from circles, guys. Good luck, right? No. Okay, so now let's take a look at this one. Here we're trying to find the value of x. Would you take 30 seconds, turn to the person next to you, see if you can figure out how to find this. They only gave us one arc measure, so how are we going to find the measure of angle x?
I know how.
Talk about it. Enlighten the people around you.
Okay, so it's, do you think we need to talk about it? I don't know how. Okay, so this is 28. Okay, so our PH is 208 degrees, and I got that. It's like,
All right, tell me what you got. You got some brainstorms here?
Yeah, I can do it.
What do you got, Isabel?
okay, so I don't know if we're gonna verbalize this in a very clear way, but I looked and I saw that arc EG is 132 degrees, and then I saw, okay, the other side of the circle, arc EHG,
Yeah?
like, that I just took 360 and subtracted 132.
All right, so what is 360 minus 132?
228.
228. Did people find that this arc EHG is going to be 228?
Yeah.
All right, so now that we know that, we're going to use the formula. Elizabeth, what's that going to be?
X equals 1/2, and then you do 228 minus 132.
So x is going to be 1/2 of 228 minus 132.
Which is 96,
So half of 96,
which is 48.
which is 48 degrees. Do people agree with this?
Yep.
All good?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, at this point, moving on. When a person is farsighted, light rays enter the eye and are focused behind the retina. All right, so here's the eye. I'm looking out like this, right? Here's the retina, and then you got the back of the eye, right? The light is coming through. All right, and if you're farsighted, then the focus point is actually behind your eye. All right, and so in the eye shown, light rays converge at point R. If the measure of arc PS is equal to 60 degrees, squeeze that in here, this arc here is 60 degrees, right? This arc, 60, can I see that? This one? All right, and then measure of our QT is 14. That's this one right here is 14. So what's the measure of angle PRS? Can you help me out with that, Ella?
I got 23.
How did you get that?
I did the 60 minus 14, and then divide that.
So 1/2 of 60 minus 14. Do people agree with that?
Yeah.
All right, and so that's going to be half of 46. And is that 23?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we okay with 23 degrees for this angle here?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
One more.
Last example. 2 of the 6, we're staying with the eye. 2 of the 6 muscles that control eye movement are attached to the eyeball and intersect behind the eye. One of them is called the superior oblique and the other is called the inferior oblique. If the measure of arc AEB is 225, that's from here, around here, to over here. This measures 225 degrees. What is the measure of angle ACB? That's this angle here.
Well,
A little help with this, Nathan Slattery.
Okay, so we're gonna find the AB, whatever you want to call it.
Arc AB?
Yeah. So we can do that by setting 360 minus 225 to get that.
Okay, so you're going to find this arc here by doing 360 minus 225, and that turns out to be what?
135.
135.
Yeah, and then to get the angle you're looking for, you do 225.
So angle C, or angle ACB, is gonna be half of what?
25 minus 135.
225 minus 135?
Yeah.
Is that half of 90?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that 45?
Yep.
Are we okay with this?
Just clarifying, I can just plug 1/2 times 225 minus 135 into my calculator and give me
On this quest, a big part of this quest is gonna be you writing equations out like this. You're gonna have,
to simplify it, or can I
you're gonna have to show work. All right,
That equation's the only work that we have to show.
have to
you want
show.
one?
I think as long as you're showing me this, I think I'm okay with that. All right, what do I have for you people? Your homework is section 12.5. You're doing 11 through 19 and number 26, and you're going to finish, well, slash start and finish, a worksheet that I'm about to give you. Reminder, FOD quiz number 3 is next class, and the quest on 12.3 to 12.6 is going to be on Friday. All right, so let's get these worksheets given out. And clearly, I can't just hand a bunch to people. I need to actually count them out.
Do you remember to start watching?
No one can use solid salt.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Evan's new.
No,
All
yeah.
right, that's it for this lesson.
Goodbye.
Thanks for
I'm
watching.
newer.
Whoopsie.
Gotta end it first.
Thanks for watching.